Hey there, Steve here. Hope you're doing well. When it comes to the chords that math rock guitarists use, I could write an entire book, and I kind of have done that. But amongst this sea of quirky odd chord shapes, there are a bunch of chords that are perfect for guitarists new to math rock. So in this video, I'll show you 7 essential beginner-friendly chords perfect for crafting mathy sounds, examples of how bands use these chords, and show you a few ways you can start using these chords in your own progressions right away. To start, let me show you these chords. Like I said, there are a ton of odd chord shapes that math rock guitarists use, and in my Math Rock Essentials guide here, a cheeky plug for you, you can see that I have listed quite a few of these chords. But the one chord I want to focus on first is these extended shell chord voicings. We're in standard tuning, and these chords are a unique type of chord that take larger chords and simplify them and capture the core tonal sound of these larger chords by just using 3 notes. So you can go from playing chords like this to chords that sound like this. And they are a superpower for creating riffs, just like the riff in the song I Just Got the Symphony Going by The Fall of Troy. Or this awesome riff in the song View to a Field by Delta Sleep. Or we can use them as powerful power chord alternatives, just like the band Golfer does in their song Heatwave. And there's even more. We can use them to create some open string kind of progressions, like you hear in the song Daylight by the band Tangled Hair. So let me show you how to play them. I'll show you them from 3 different string groups for maximum coverage of the fretboard. So no matter where you are, there'll be always one of these chords available to you. So starting with major 7 shell voicings, you can play them like this. So we're going to play a C major 7 starting here. Then from our 5th string root, we can play it up here. And then from the D string root, next, we have dominant 7 chords, which have a spicier sound to them, and you can use them to replace any other dominant chord in a progression. And here we're going to use a G dominant 7 sound. And then we have minor 7 chords, which have that tint of sadness to them. And for this one, we're going to use an A minor 7 sound. The thing is, how do you use these chords to write some mathy and emo style ideas? Well, of course, there are many ways we could do that, but here are 3 ways that I like to use to help you get started. One creative way to use these shell chord voicings is to include some open strings for a twinkly sound, like you heard in that Tangled Hair example. We have this ringing B string going on throughout all of those chord shapes, and it creates this kind of unified sound and adds to that melancholy, kind of dreamy vibe. So as long as the open strings that you choose, fit within a key, meaning they aren't sharp or flat in that key, then you can go to town experimenting with different chords with these open strings. And that's exactly what I did in my song Persimmon for my band Mountains. I used the ringing high B and E strings, and then I used chords in the key of A major to construct this idea. Another way to get creative is to use these chords instead of your power chords, and they just add a little bit more emotion. For example, I could take this power chord progression And by replacing them with shell chord voicings, it would have a bit more of an emotional impact. And lastly, of course, you can use these to write some awesome single note riffs like I've shown you in that For La Troya example. And by the same band, in their song FC Premix, Thomas uses similar chord progression, but this time he picks the notes individually, with a lot of delay on there. And I took this approach and I used shell chord voicings to craft something similar for my song called Present. Alright, now you know some awesome mathy chords, but the thing is, in order for your ideas to sound more mathy, we need to learn the essential techniques that math rock guitarists use. So watch this video next where I'll teach you 3 essential techniques for math rock guitar. Thanks for watching, see you next time, goodbye.